Hey guys, what is going on? This is Peter from Good eReader. We are here with one of the guys who started and founded Eazeye. Lewis, how are you doing today? What is going on?
I'm great. Thank you, Peter.
Where are you right now is what we want to know.
Yeah, so I'm currently in Connecticut.
Nice.
I am from Hong Kong, but I am studying currently in the United States as a boarding school student.
Nice. International man of mystery. Well, let's start it off because we have a bunch of questions here and we want to know if you guys have been following our channel, of course, you'll see that we have reviewed a couple iterations of the Eazeye monitor. So, Lewis, what is Eazeye?
Yeah, so Eazeye is the world's first naturally backlit computer monitor. And it has a few main benefits. First of all, it is much more comfortable to look at. It reduces eye strain, and it also reduces electricity consumption by 90%. And another benefit is also that it works outdoors. Mm.
Yeah, I remember we had the guys at a table discussion prior to doing the video rolls, and we put it up against a window and then in the boardroom with
Mhm.
like someone shining a light on it. And it is miraculous how when you put the light behind the monitor, it shines right through the monitor and illuminates the patch in which is the same as the lights. If you put your phone light behind it, it's like, oh my God, it just shows up right there. It is pretty crazy. I know you've already told us a little bit about, you said you're, traveling all over the place. You're from Hong Kong.
Mhm.
Uh, please tell us anything you can about yourself and where and why you started Eazeye.
Yeah, so I'm the CEO and founder of Eazeye, and I am a high school student. I mentioned this that I am studying in the US right now, and I started Eazeye about it's been a year and a half about. And so how I started was that I found a problem with these LCD displays and all the devices that are around us right now are using these backlit LCDs which emit light, and these light sources are very tiring to look at, and it was definitely something that was very tiring for me to look at. And so I wanted an alternative. So I looked online, I looked at some stores online, for example, like on Amazon, and these stores sold these eye strain prevention monitors. And I looked at a bunch of them, and I didn't know which one was the best, which monitor was the best for my needs for to be more comfortable. And they all said low blue light, low flicker. And for me, that was a problem because are all the monitors the same? Are all the backlit displays the same? And I found it a bit unusual that the low blue light setting, for example, that they have is probably different for each computer monitor. So I wanted to create a display that was transparent, that um, had that um, that we had data on, that we could test out the LED, that we could test out how good it was for eye strain prevention. And so I looked at some videos, and I looked at some articles on how a regular computer monitor was made. And these regular computer monitors, I saw there was a video where somebody disassembled one, and they placed LED toward the LCD display towards a light source, and you'd actually see light pass through and illuminate the display. So I thought,
Uh,
why couldn't I create a display, yeah,
yeah.
that was lit by the environment? And so that was how it sparked everything, and that's how we moved from prototype one all the way to prototype five, where we are at now, where this is the final product that is live on Indiegogo right now. Um, and yeah, that's basically the entire story summed up.
Nice. And before I comment on something, I did have another question that leads right into that one. How is
Mhm.
Eazeye more comfortable than a regular monitor? Because like most people, when they go on Amazon, they see, IPS, LCD, LED, 1080, 4K, 8K, 2K, and they're like, well, what do I choose? What's good? So why is Eazeye supposed to stand out amongst a crowd of LCD LEDs?
Yeah, so we created Eazeye to be more eye friendly, and First of all, it's low glare. So glare is basically like a reflection you see. So you shine a light at it, for example, you hold out your phone and you take out the flashlight. You open the flashlight on your phone,
Yeah.
you'd see a reflection of that on your displays, on your LCD displays. We've tried to minimize that reflection and try to diffuse it as much as possible. And also with it being naturally backlit, the all the factors of the lighting that is used to backlight the monitor, such as like the CRI, such as the color, such as the intensity of the light, is
Yeah.
all identical. All these factors of the lighting that is used to backlight this monitor is identical to the light that you would see that would reflect off the objects off your surrounding. So it is we also have the LED strip that we've spent a lot of time developing, and through these different iterations, we've changed a lot. Our current LED strip uses full spectrum LEDs. That's something that you won't see in other computer monitors, just because it is so much more expensive. So for the prototypes that we have shipped to journalists and reviewers right now, we had to actually each LED piece, and there's about 80 pieces, individually solder it onto the circuit board. And
Oh,
we hope later on, we could, when we do mass production, this would be a lot more easier to do. Um, yeah, so full spectrum LEDs actually are much better for your eyes because they're, first of all, they're the same LEDs you see. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, seasonal affective disorder, SAD, lamps that people stare into. So they can, um, it's so because it is very close to sunlight, in the visible spectrum. So Eazeye uses full spectrum LEDs that are, so it's much closer to looking at natural daylight than looking into like other regular LED light sources. We also have these LEDs are low in blue light. They are about 3 times lower in intensity, and we have done a lot of spectrometer testing to have this data available. You can take a look on our Indiegogo page for more information. We have
yeah.
um, all these datas published.
Very nice. Yeah, all of this resonates with us quite well because obviously we are in the e-paper industry, which is all about, easy on the eyes, lack of reflectivity, breaking down what makes it so difficult to stare at an LCD monitor all day, which is why, this is right up our alley, e-paper alternatives, things like that. But there is a little bit of an elephant in the room is that why is it at $549 USD, whereas a regular monitor you can buy like Lapao and Odake on Wish for 40 bucks, 100 bucks? Why is it so much more expensive than a traditional kind of lower quality monitor?
Yeah, so apart from the design and research and also the cost of customization, let's only focus on, let's say, the materials.
Yeah.
Eazeye uses anodized aluminum
Hmm.
for the bezel and for the frames on the side. And we also have, for our entire reflector panel, we use carbon fiber.
Ah,
And carbon fiber is just this really premium material that you basically don't even see in computer monitors. And the reason why we chose carbon fiber isn't just because it sounds better or we
it
wanted to
it
have a
does. It's a
luxury
selling
monitor.
point.
It does,
It sounds
but the
awesome.
reason why we did that was that throughout the different iterations of Eazeye, we've tested actually basically a lot of materials out there. I think in our first prototype, we tested like cardboard. We tested in our second prototype plastic.
Yeah.
We tested also aluminum for the back panel, and we had a criteria, and that was the panel had to be lightweight, it had to be durable, it had to be thin. And with cardboard, it was, of course, it wasn't durable, it wasn't thin. Plastic was not thin as well, and
Hmm.
not as durable as we hoped.
Yeah.
We wanted a product that would last and that would be better in terms of quality than a regular computer monitor. Um, and so we tested aluminum. Aluminum was actually great in terms of the thickness, in terms of that it is a lot thinner. And it is also a lot more durable, but then you have the problem with it being so heavy. It's quite unwieldy to have a panel that is heavy, and when you adjust, it's really uncomfortable. So we wanted something that was thin, that was comfortable. And in our fourth and fifth prototypes, when we switched to carbon fiber, um, it was a really great solution that worked. And that's why we stuck with it. And that's why our prices are actually quite fair. And there's also the cost of development, there's the cost of mass production later
Yeah.
on. Of course, because this is such a different thing compared to a regular computer monitor, that for even our LEDs, we'd have to custom make. A
Yeah.
lot of parts we have to customize, and
Right.
we have to build. And so that's why it is this price where it is right now at 549.
So a lot of people are wondering, we had a lot of and this is a positive thing, getting people stirring up and everything like that.
Mhm.
You didn't just grab a monitor, remove a component of it, and then just kind of put it back and be like, look what we did, right? Like that's not what's going on here. So how is Eazeye physically different than a regular monitor?
So I've heard of that a lot. A lot of people say you've just removed the backlight. What's
That's
the difference
that's
between
exactly it.
what's
Yeah.
the difference between Eazeye and a regular monitor without
Yeah.
a backlight? Why is it even more expensive? And so if you actually take apart a regular monitor, first of all, we've tried a lot of methods to make the screen brighter. There are certain filters that we use. There's certain diffuser sheets that we use. There's also with the panel and how we coat it, a technique that we use, a dual coating, to try to make it a lot brighter. So if you take, and we also for our LCD tested a lot of LCD screens to ensure that this one is going to have the brightest optical effect.
Right.
So if you take apart a regular monitor, you would not get the same effect as Eazeye. It would be a lot more dimmer. Second of all, you have also the problem with durability. You have basically a thin piece of glass. If you take it out of the LCD screen, and it's certainly, and also the panel and the stand, it's something that is not going to be very durable or portable in any sense. So it really isn't comparable if you take apart a regular monitor and compare it to Eazeye.
We have done teardowns on e-readers and stuff
Mhm.
ourselves. We've had our guys take apart the actual layers of everything. No, everyone, they did not just rip apart a monitor. Thank you for clearing that up, because that was
Mhm.
not the biggest thing, but that was a consensus, was that like, oh,
Yeah,
how is that
we
any
build
different?
it.
People just
Mhm.
he just peeled it off. Like obviously you didn't just peel off. It's not as sandwiched as the point. It's like here's the LED, here's the light, here's the glass. It's not as clear as
we
that.
we
No.
customize yeah, we customize everything from the
There you
screen,
go.
and all the filters and all the frames,
Yeah.
everything we build from scratch.
Right. Yeah, that's
Um,
significantly
mhm.
different, everyone, than just peeling apart an already existing product. Okay. Now, with us, we're involved in e-paper, but we have branched out several times into things like Hisense and RLCD, reflective LCD. Even Garmin makes MIP, which is memory in pixel, so that once a pixel generates itself with a color, it no longer uses any batteries until it changes state. What I'm saying is, Eazeye looks to be in the category of e-paper alternative. Was that something you thought of prior to releasing it, that it would have any effect on e-paper like Kindles and Kobos and things like that, or you didn't think that?
Yeah, so we didn't create Eazeye to compete with ePaper in any sense. Eazeye is a product that can help with eye strain, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's me getting Eazeye completed to this point is another just putting another solution out there to eye strain, just like e-paper or LCD or a lot of these technologies.
Right.
And my goal, and I feel like a lot of people in this industry's goal, is to just make a more comfortable viewing experience. And so that really is my end goal, is not really to say this is better than e-paper, but it's really just to say, here's another alternative, here's an affordable alternative that you can try that personally has worked for me, and that is comparable to e-ink, comparable to
Yeah.
RLCD. And at the end, we all have the same goal of trying to get a more comfortable viewing experience.
It is really, it's all of each person
Mhm.
trying to work on, like, for example, LCD monitors use more power, which is why there are e-ink monitors now that are on the rise. Multiple manufacturers, three major manufacturers are now making e-ink paneled, e-paper paneled monitors. So now that you have the LED version under the belt with the Eazeye, are you ever maybe to consider a variant of that that has an e-paper panel, kind of the same look, but like allow people to
Mhm.
kind of choose between almost like a Kindle and like a Kindle Fire, like an LCD tablet versus an e-paper device?
Yeah, sure. That's obviously e-paper is a really great solution to eye strain that is already existent. But then it has a few downsides. It has refresh rate. It also has a slow
We know.
refresh rate. It has low contrast, for
Yeah.
example, right now with the new color e-ink monitors.
Yeah.
And of course, there's still things to work on. If I can see anything that brings that I can bring to the marketplace. It would be something that for e-paper would be perhaps more comfortable to look at, or um, a more affordable alternative. And that's why I
Yeah.
think that, of course, there's actually a lot of potential in this industry with eye strain and so many of these products. And because we are again moving on to like a more digital age,
Yeah.
we really have to consider these effects of screens and looking into the LEDs in the long term, and how that would affect us.
It is true. I mean, I'm in the e-paper industry, but I mean, I stare into LCD, LED. I'm looking at three monitors in front of me. I got my phone here, and people are always like, "Do you use e-ink
Mhm.
everything?" I'm like, "No, I can't. I can't possibly do that. I have to use LCD, LED for
Mhm.
getting things done." But there's a time and a place. Reading, taking notes. Of course, I use e-paper. Now,
Mhm.
on the Eazeye, the build kind of looks like a combination or a culmination of various things. So when you look at the Eazeye from the front, it's like, oh, this is just a nice kind of square modern monitor, right? Nice and sleek, slim bezels. And then you move it to the side and you see a very finished look, but it looks like there's some R&D there. There was purposely built with that chunky rail and the back that kind of, tilts open
Mhm.
and everything like that. What was the approach to the R&D of that?
Yeah, so we've spent a lot of time trying to make this really a great design. For the bottom bezel, you can see it's actually slightly thicker than your regular
Yeah.
computer monitors, and the reason why we spent a lot of time trying to make this bezel as thin as possible to make it a good and aesthetic product. And it was quite challenging because you have all your circuit boards, you have your
Yeah.
LED strip, your LCD components all taking up space there in the bottom.
Yeah.
And we also, if you look at a regular monitor, you have the whole back side, the back plate,
Yeah.
where you have all your components in the back. For each side, we couldn't do that
No.
because you
It had to
needed
be a pass through.
yeah, the
Yeah.
light had to pass through directly from the back. And so we had to put everything in the bottom bezel. So we spent a lot of time developing that to make it as sleek of a design as possible. And as for the panel, I think I've already mentioned earlier
Yeah.
how many times we've tried different materials of the panel, trying to make it as sleek and lightweight as possible. And then also the hinges, we've changed the design um, multiple times to make the slot to make the panel fit into the slot more easily. So yeah, there's a lot of R&D, a lot of research and prototyping on that. And
Yeah. I would say from the second gen, which I believe we had our hands on, and now this current one, there has been a significant jump in overall kind of fit and finish. It looks
Mhm.
like premium now. It looks like it's there. You know what I mean? Before it was almost like a proof of concept, and now it's like, yeah, this is solid. I know
Yeah,
you
and we
already
hope
mentioned Indiegogo, but
mhm.
where can people get one now as of the date of this upload?
Yeah, you can right now. We are live on Indiegogo. You can search up Eazeye on the Indiegogo website, or go down into the description and click on that link that will take you directly to the Eazeye Indiegogo page. And if you back us right now, our price is at the lowest price it'll ever be at 549. once our campaign ends in about a month, we would start immediately into mass production. And then after mass production, which should take a month or two, we would start shipping immediately. So everything we want to get done as soon as possible, and as quick as possible in 3 months, in about 3 months time. Yeah.
Nice. And of course, everyone, the link is going to be down below. We will have some more videos and footage, and actually an upcoming video of the screen technology compared directly against next to an e-paper screen to kind of see in the same lighted environment what it's all going to look like. But I think that's everything, Lewis. I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate the time. I appreciate you not only building this, but really standing behind it to the point where you back up what it all is that the community's thinking about your product. You know what I mean? They say, oh, you just took this and you ripped it apart. Like, no, you've spent a lot of time putting this together. The screen itself, if you had anything behind the screen, any PCB, you would just have a circuit board shaped, blockage of light, because light needs to pass through it corner to corner. And there's like no inconsistencies. So I appreciate it, man. I really do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Peter.
No problem.
Thank you.
And yeah, guys, till the next one, this is Lewis from Eazeye and Peter from goodereader.com.